Ladies and gentlemen, following Nvidia's 17% sell-off today and Tesla's 2.5% sell-off today, both stocks appear to be bouncing higher in after hours. Now, here in this video, I will share with you the most recent news regarding this DeepSeek situation. Nvidia made a couple of statements. The White House and Trump actually made a statement about this. We do have some tariff news as well today in after hours, as Scott Bessent has been confirmed by the Senate. On top of that, we have economic data coming out tomorrow, and earnings season, well, kicks up another notch tomorrow. I will share all of the latest details with you that you need to know as an investor and an investor in Tesla stock. And specifically for Tesla in this video, we will discuss where we're at. Okay, Tesla has fallen almost $100 per share from the $488 all-time high. Not quite, but close. You're down like $91, $92 from that level. And I think we are being presented with an opportunity ahead of Tesla earnings. So, ladies and gentlemen, hit the like button and subscribe to the channel if you have not done so already. And if you guys would like to follow the X account where you get notified of news as soon as it breaks. And, well, you know, don't come over there if you're expecting a proper Michael Tyler, because I speak my mind over there. And I think that's what's great about X versus other platforms like YouTube that will censor you for speaking your mind. Topic for another video. Follow this if you would like to be notified whenever news drops. Just turn on that notification bell. So first things first, markets are bouncing a little bit, at least here in after hours. Nvidia is up about 2.5%. Tesla is up 0.5%, give or take at the time of recording this video. NASDAQ futures are green. That's good, considering you were down close to 4% today. NASDAQ futures currently for tomorrow are up 1/3%. The S&P is up 0.1%, and the Dow is down 0.07%. Oil futures look like they're declining again, but not by much, which is actually good. 10-year Treasury yields today, which retreated about 10 basis points as investors were, seeking a flight to safety. Well, fell 10 basis points, and now it looks like they're going up almost 3 basis points, at least in futures markets for tomorrow. So a little bit of stabilization, which Nvidia fell 17%. People are not going to fall out of love with this thing in one day. This was the largest sell-off since the COVID crash for Nvidia, long before Nvidia was really a love stock to begin with. So this is really going to shake people up for a bit. But it doesn't have to mean everything is doom and gloom. According to Nvidia, and even to the White House, Nvidia said earlier today at about 2 p.m., DeepSeek's work shows how new models can be created, leveraging widely available models and compute that is fully export control compliant. And then at about 4 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time, NVIDIA calls China's DeepSeek R1 model, quote, an excellent AI advancement. And this was according to CNBC. So NVIDIA is not taking the role in which you would expect them to do and say, yeah, we think there's more investment that went behind that, not just $6 million. They're not taking that approach. They're taking the approach in saying, well, look at what our product created, which may be the right approach. Who am I to say what's the right approach versus not? But there is still those concerns. If DeepSeek, and it's a big if, actually trained the R1 model using $6 million US, that is like 99% more efficient than any other large language model out on the marketplace today. And that could be an issue. That could mean companies would need less GPUs if they can just build on open source models. If I could take the open source model from DeepSeek, for that matter, and just train it for something else or continue to work on it, well, maybe I would need less GPUs. That's kind of the scare right now for Nvidia, but Nvidia is not, they don't seem too worried. And Trump says just a couple of hours ago now, about 2 hours ago, that we'll soon place tariffs on foreign computer chips. Which, correct me if I'm wrong, I'm not an expert on this, but Nvidia is sure a US company, but chips are made in Taiwan. So if Nvidia did not get some kind of pass on these tariffs, which the president can do, like Apple in 2017, when tariffs were put on China, Apple was not affected by that because they got a pass essentially from the US. Well, without a pass, I think Nvidia or TSM would have to pay a tariff now, which would not be good. So we really want to see what these details are. I doubt after a day like today, they wouldn't get a pass. I mean, people are already nervous enough when it comes to Nvidia. And Donald Trump, about an hour ago, praises China's advancements in AI, calls DeepSeek a wake-up call and potential positive development. Trump says that if you want to stop paying the tariffs, you need to build the plant in the US. We will look at steel and other industries for tariffs. He announces plans, Donald Trump, to impose tariffs on computer chips. Pharmaceutical producers, urges companies to build plants in the US to avoid tariffs. Donald Trump also says that the US government will cut corporate taxes even further. Trump says we must permanently extend tax cuts previously passed under the Trump administration. Now, starting tomorrow, earnings season is really going to start kicking up a notch from mainly banks into other different sectors and industries. Boeing, they already pre-reported, but they officially report tomorrow morning. GM, Lockheed Martin, Royal Caribbean, RTX, Synchrony, JetBlue, Cisco, and Kimberly-Clark are going to report tomorrow morning. Now, GM doesn't tend to be important for Tesla. It doesn't tend to move Tesla too much, but it is an automaker. Tesla is mainly an auto company deemed by Wall Street at this point, so it could be an important one to watch for tomorrow. Now, tomorrow and after hours, Starbucks, SAP, Lending Club, Logitech, Stride, PCA, Chubb, F5, and Stryker will report. And then Wednesday pre-market, and really Wednesday throughout the day, you're going to get your AI earnings, your hyperscaler earnings. And that's what's really going to be important for our markets, specifically big tech and Nvidia. You have Tesla, obviously, Wednesday and after hours. You have Meta, Microsoft, IBM, Lam Research, ServiceNow, Celestica, Wolfspeed, and Western Digital. And then Thursday, UPS, MasterCard, Dow, Blackstone Group, Nokia, Southwest, Caterpillar, Comcast, and Mobileye pre-market. And then in after hours, you have Apple, Intel, Visa, KLA, CN, Atlassian, Baker Hughes, Decker Brands, United States Steel, and SkyWest. And then Friday, you have ExxonMobil, Chevron, AbbVie, Phillips 66, and others pre-market. Now, the big question that I think a lot of Wall Street is going to have is, what do the hyperscalers say about their AI investments? What do they say about DeepSeek? Do they, kind of reiterate what I've said, that it's highly unlikely that that model was trained off of $6 million? Or do they say we could be more efficient? We're looking at being more efficient, and that may mean less CapEx investment this year. If that's said, then that's a big problem for Nvidia. Now, does that have to be a big problem for all of your hyperscalers? Probably not. Less CapEx spending would mean likely more profitability. But data center names, semiconductors, that's where the issue more or less would be. You actually seen today that a lot of software names actually benefited. If the cost to, create AI products and services falls, theoretically, that should be good for some other areas, like software. Now, while Tesla's stock did not have a great day today, it was a lot of just being guilty by association. People associate Tesla with hyperscalers for whatever reason, although Tesla's not really a hyperscaler in the same sense as like Amazon, Microsoft, Google, Nvidia. Yes, Tesla buys GPUs, but they're actually creating real world AI that has really nothing to do, to the large extent, of large language models, right? Tesla doesn't build large language models. They are training real world data, if you will, video data, to create a product that is going to revolutionize the world. Should Tesla have fallen today alongside Nvidia, alongside hyperscalers? No, Tesla should have outperformed like a software stock. I think the issue is we do have earnings coming this week, and Tesla's rallied a lot over the past couple of months. Okay, the stock is still up like 100% from 6 months ago. Okay, and Tesla normally gets a little bit of selling before earnings as is. It's almost baked into the algorithms to sell Tesla stock at least a little bit, to deposition before earnings, especially considering 4 of the last 6 earnings, Tesla stock has fallen 10% the day after. Like, there's not a good recent track record for Tesla earnings. And when you add this kind of volatility in markets with AI specifically, and I think that's why you get Tesla, yeah, it didn't fall that much. All of your hyperscalers pretty much fell more than Tesla, right? Nvidia fell almost 10 times more than Tesla today. But it was still a little bit of that guilty by association. Option activity today, final numbers. You had 85 different trades totaling $80 million. The positive order value of 64%. That was actually really good considering the fear that is out there, again, in the AI sector. Now, Tesla stock today had return shares of 1.2 million, borrowed shares of 1.32 million. That is a borrow change of 116,000 shares. So that means 116,000 shares were sold short today, which is really not that much for Tesla to be down over 2%. Now, short interest of free float sits at 2.4%. You have $27.22 billion sold short in Tesla currently, totaling about 67 million shares. Now, tomorrow is also going to be a pretty big day as far as economic data. Tomorrow morning, we will get durable goods orders month over month. Last month, we came in at negative 1.1%. So you're looking at a month over month comparison here, and we are expecting around a 0.5% positive. So 0.5% positive. That would actually put the last 2 months in negative territory for durable goods orders. Okay, Wall Street might like a weak number tomorrow. That might help reinforce bond yields coming down. Again, bond yields today plummeted 10 basis points because there was a flight to safety. So basically, investors, they sold tech and they bought bonds. They also sold, again, software, healthcare names. There were some areas that did very well today, but they definitely bought some bonds. If economic data comes in weak tomorrow, you could see more buying of bonds and yields coming down, which would be good for, small caps in theory, some of your more risk on areas. We also get the S&P Case-Shiller home price year over year. That'll come out at 9 o'clock in the morning, expecting around 4%. Don't think that's going to move markets all too much. We will get CB consumer confidence, expecting consumer confidence to tick upwards to 106 from 104.7 last month. That comes out at 10 o'clock in the morning. Richmond Fed Manufacturing Index, same old, expecting, pretty much the same negative numbers from last month. Around -8 to -10 or so would not be a big shocker. That data comes out at 10 o'clock in the morning. And then at 10:30 in the morning tomorrow, Dallas Fed Services Index, expecting that to be roughly in line with last month as well. And then we do get a 7-year bond auction. These are important because the Fed controls the short end of the curve. That's why the Fed's cut rates 100 basis points, 1% in the past couple of months. And we haven't seen Treasury yields come down. You haven't seen mortgages get cheaper, right? You haven't seen auto loans get cheaper. You've seen the opposite. They've gotten more expensive because the Fed doesn't control longer duration Treasury yields. 7-year bond auction, it's not the 10-year, it's not the 20 or the 30-year, but it's getting out to, longer duration, right? 7 years is not a short-term bond by any means. So that is what we have as far as data for tomorrow, and that could be one of the main stories. And all things equal, really, I mean, with Nvidia falling so much today, do not be shocked if the stock bounces 5 to 10% tomorrow. right? A lot of your AI stocks could bounce a lot tomorrow, because even when you looked at the options today, the puts were actually pretty cheap for like far out the money, like the $75 puts, the $100 puts, which isn't even that far out the money. People were not letting the calls go for cheap. The calls expiring this Friday and next Friday were actually pretty expensive. It was like $200 to get like a 135 call for next week, which is pretty expensive considering the stock was down 17% and there was on face value a lot of fear. And that just told me you were probably likely to get a bounce coming tomorrow as long as this situation didn't get worse. And at this point, how much worse can it be? DeepSeek is the #1 most downloaded app on the App Store right now. I mean, there you have it. It doesn't get better than that from that perspective. And that's the real issue in what happened today for markets is we've known about DeepSeek for a while. The issue isn't really DeepSeek. It is, well, part of it is that the cost to train the model. The other part of it is it got mass adoption, essentially, just like ChatGPT did. So now there's actually a competitor, a Chinese competitor to these large language models based in the US, and you haven't seen that yet. Now, specifically for Tesla stock, I want to be buying any further weakness here in Tesla heading into Tesla earnings. The options are pretty damn expensive, so if there is an opportunity to flip the options, make them free, ride some into earnings, I definitely will look to do that. If you guys want to come trade with me live in real time, every time I make a trade, I send out alerts. Check out that link down below in the description of this video. But, from my perspective here, I think the risk reward is very good for Tesla. I think the odds of Tesla having a big disappointment on the earnings call is pretty unlikely at this point. And I think we've gotten that correction, if you will, pre-Tesla earnings. I mean, from the all-time high, again, on a percentage basis, Tesla's down about 19%. That should be considered, right? You're down 19%. You're not heading into Tesla earnings at all-time highs. So you can just, from that perspective, say expectations are a little bit lower now than they perhaps were when Tesla was at all-time highs in mid-December. Okay, so that sets you up in a better position. Now, short-term heading into Tesla earnings, you want to see if Tesla holds support at the 50-day moving average or not. Okay, if it does, that's a good sign. If it doesn't, that's a bad sign. It's pretty simple here. If Tesla gives us a disappointment on the earnings call, I'll tell you where the stock's going. It's going to the 100-day moving average at $318 per share. Now, depending where you're at in life with your, money, you're going to be hoping for different outcomes. If you're like me, then you lean more towards you want to see Tesla fall so you can pick up more shares. I have a $900 price target by the end of this year. I want to buy as many shares of Tesla as I possibly can. I see that as an easy double or triple at $300 per share by the end of this year. A double, easy. Triple, most likely in my scenarios. So if I get the opportunity, I'm going to buy a lot of shares in the 300s. The low 300s, oh yeah, that's money. That's easy. That's a no-brainer decision, right? That's easier than buying Nvidia at $120. And I mean, I think it's way easier, right? Long-term, Tesla's going to do way better than Nvidia, in my opinion. Okay, so that's my opinion. Some of you guys don't want that, and I think there's a good chance that we won't get that. But it's obviously impossible to know for sure. I've laid forth the playbook for the earnings call and what will move Tesla. It is robotaxi. It is, most importantly, the lower, cheaper price Tesla. Does Elon and Tesla remain with their 20 to 30% guidance for this year? Upside catalyst will be if Tesla says FSD is entering the Chinese or European market this year, which I think a lot of people have not considered. And if we get confirmation of the recent rumor that Optimus will be starting production by the end of this year, that's not even on people's radars right now. So there is some things that I think we have a heads up on in the retail community that a lot of big money is not paying attention to right now that could be big positive surprises on Tesla's earnings call. And that makes me optimistic, and that's why I think there is an opportunity. And that's why I do want to buy more shares in Tesla heading into Tesla earnings. But again, if we have a big drop after Tesla earnings, that is a huge opportunity. So let me know what you think about all of this information down below in the comments section. I would love your thoughts on markets right now, on DeepSeek, on Tesla, on Nvidia, on the whole AI sector. Did you buy today? Did you reduce positioning today? Hopefully you did not, but if you did, I mean, I don't blame you. A lot of those stocks have maybe more to lose than more to gain. Maybe not Nvidia, but some of the other ones that sold off. Not a huge fan of ASML, TSMC. I think there's better places to put your money. Just my opinion, though. Again, let me know what you guys think down below in the comment section. Have a fantastic rest of your day and night. I will see you in the next one.